Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
So my 83-year-old father asked me today, he said, "Hey, Jared, do you think I should start smoking cannabis?" And it was out of the blue. Yep. Oh, I said, yeah, I was kind of like, I surveyed the landscape. Well, Dad, I mean, you've avoided it for these many years, but it might not be a bad
Sure.
idea. I actually turned to him in a very somber voice, said, "What brought this upon? What brought this up, Father? Is there
What's
something
up,
you'd
Tiger?
like to tell me?" Yeah.
What's on your mind? What's
I said, "Listen, I won't tell my sister." No, it's out of the blue. I mean, my dad, he would never smoke cannabis.
You know what's funny? My grandfather did the exact same thing when he was around that age. Probably older, actually. Probably pushing 90. Yeah, he asked my sister if she knew where to get some. He's like, yeah, I just want to try it. She's like, I'll see what I can do, Grampy. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
And did he?
I forget. I don't think she got it for him, or like it didn't work out or something. But I think he finally maybe got his hands on it. I think it was the same thing. He was kind of like, well, the clock's running out. I'll just check that box.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Well, I told him if it could potentially be good for chronic pain. A lot of people swear by it.
Yeah.
If you're you have rheumatoid arthritis or whatever.
Please tell me you'll videotape it if it happens.
Oh my God.
I just want to see what happens.
I don't know. That's kind of nuts. You been watching anything good on TV lately?
Just a bunch of reality television. Yeah. It's like a big Ted Nugent concert somewhere in Washington.
Rock and roll.
Hey, it's a new year though.
It is.
It's a new year.
It's a new year, and
starting off sort of weird, but whatever.
Yeah, does it feel like a new year?
Yeah. I'm looking at the Christmas tree thinking, oh, that could come down. We're done with that, right?
It feels like it's like we're starting the new year right in the middle of a Jenga pile.
Right. Wait, whose turn was it? Oh, yeah. Oh, geez. No. Let's just finish this game. Let's just finish this game. We know what's going to happen. It's going to be a big mess. We'll make it worse, but then we'll start a new one. It'll be beautiful.
Yeah, it hasn't yet toppled, and yet it's not like a clean slate exactly.
Yeah, we're all nervous. It's going to make a loud noise. Let's just get through it.
There it is.
Oh, boy. Speaking of nervous, where's Pete? Oh, yeah, Pete's not here.
Oh, Pete's not here, which means we get to go nugless. Hang on. Yeah. I love it. Unbuckle the old belt.
Oh my God. Don't look. Yeah, Pete's on assignment. Pete's got stuff to do. Mm-hmm. After we fade out, he promised to come back and talk with us about Star Wars some more. Hey, we finished the holiday special, so we're back to talking about Star Wars after this.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
That was good.
I love talking about the holiday special with you guys. I thought that was really fun. I don't care what anybody says.
No, it was. It's one of those things. It's just all sides inexplicable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this beautiful jewel of madness that requires examination.
As we said, it is the closest thing to Star Wars.
It's like that and Kenner commercials.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a magical time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You want to thank some people?
Yeah, let's do it.
I feel like I should ask you more stuff. Like, how was your Christmas?
You can ask me one more stuff.
Okay. This one time you'll let me ask you about your business.
Yes.
Did you have a nice, weird, sequestered Christmas?
Yes, I think I had. Yes. Yeah.
Good.
We ordered pizza on Christmas
Nice.
Eve, before the place closed, and I
Mhm.
got enough, for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Oh,
Got a bunch of ice cream. Yeah.
it's like a little Hanukkah miracle. There was enough
Yes.
pizza for Christmas Day and Christmas Eve.
Yes, we should have run out, but
I only delivered one
and it
slice for
was,
some reason, but it lasted.
I mean, you kind of, you kind of, you fly the banner of acceptance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Which I flouted this year, but you know,
yes,
which I felt guilty about, but I felt I needed to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a lot of people have pointed out, hey, you know what? You gotta see your family if they're, you're talking about your dad, smoking pot maybe at 80. My parents are not smoking pot at 80, but maybe they should. They're rickety as yoga balls, but they're having a nice time, and it was good to see them. And I don't know how many Christmases I'll have left with them. So I took the risk of maybe killing them this year, and it doesn't seem like I did. So that's good.
Well, you did. I mean, you drove all the way, secluded in the car. You stopped at the gas station once in, wherever in Wilkes-Barre or wherever it is.
Yeah. No, I think we stopped. Oh, I wish I should remember. Damn it. We didn't stop in Danville. We didn't stop in Mifflinville. I think we stopped in Dubois, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhere in Ohio. I forget where. Mm-hmm. Those big, nice travel stations, whatever they are, those rest areas. Yeah. Starbucks were all closed. It was weird. Like only the Burger King was open. Yeah.
I mean, if you're driving like Cannonball Run style and you get out and you put gas in your car and you use a bag over your hand to pump the gas, and you have a mask on and you get back in the car. I mean, your
hands are caked in sanitizer the entire time.
Yeah,
dripping.
It's probably the best you can do.
It seems to have worked.
I live in Los Angeles, which is it's epicenter these days for the plague. So
yeah.
I don't, there's a lot of sitting around staring at your belly button and being grateful. Yeah.
I'm kind of glad to be home and just doing that now, and like just being like, okay, I'm for real, like quarantined. I'm, because we got home like a week ago, and it's like we know we were as safe as we could be, but who knows? So we got tested yesterday and everything and stuff, and. But like until we get results back, we're like fully like in a submarine, and
I mean, make no mistake, it's absolutely maddening.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of fun too in a weird way.
Sort of.
It's weird. I kind of like the spaceship aspect of it. I feel like I'm in a spaceship. Like I'm going down to the lower level to communicate with Jerry for a little bit, and then I'll be up on TV deck to watch the rest of a show, and then I'll clean up the mess hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, the galley. I don't know. It's fun being in a spaceship.
It's peculiar.
Sometimes.
Very, very peculiar. I like I said, I feel like we're all on the door of the Titanic in frigid water, just waiting for the Carpathia to pick us up.
Right.
It's like it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and the ship is sunk. You're like, I know there's a lot of ship coming. Yeah, exactly. Just kind of hanging on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's getting grim. No, it's
not. It's grim.
I do have that guilt. I do feel, I keep saying like, if I didn't have a kid, I could do this standing on my head. Like, I don't have a hard time with this whole pandemic. I mean, I say that knowing that this is the point of what I'm saying, is that I know it's other people are having a harder time than I am. And I'm very aware of that. And I'm very, very lucky to be able to just kind of like obnoxiously coast and just watch my Columbos and just, I've got food, I've got work, whatever. So I've got guilt about that, but I'm also trying to appreciate it at the same time.
I mean,
thankful.
To be honest, the truth is I have no idea how, in a way, the country is getting along.
It is weird.
I don't, if you explain the scenario to me and the specifics, I would imagine there'd be much more pandemonium than even the pandemonium we do see. I don't know. I don't know how it will play out. It's a peculiar time, and yet it's a time to practice gratitude.
Yeah.
And to kind of like your world becomes very small.
It does.
Like that, yeah, there's like, that's I'm in a small apartment and my folks and way too many animals and
trying to see through a haze of pot smoke.
Yeah. and it's like but since it's because it's been so long and you kind of have hopefully mentally prepared for it somewhat, I don't know. It's you can. It's like a bizarre way station.
Yeah. The summer will be weird. So summer will be like everyone's going to start going to movies and making out with strangers in the aisles while the movie's playing. Everyone's going to be like, "Hey, we can hang out with each other and touch each other and stuff." Maybe not summer. I don't know. Let's say summer.
Okay.
Let's you and me go to a movie in August.
Fair.
I don't know what's playing. We'll have to look at the paper.
There it is.
All right. We should probably thank some people.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Fine. We will. We want to thank all the lovely patrons who have been hanging out with us and sticking with us through these weird times. Not only is it weird because it's a pandemic, but there's also a dearth of Indiana Jones Minute episodes because we still haven't gotten back to Crystal Skull. But I swear to God, we're gonna. This is the year. 2020. I'm embarrassed. I'm actually physically embarrassed to say we're coming up on a year of us not having done the show. That was not planned. I mean, like the ending, the break wasn't planned, and the length of the break was not planned. But all I can say, and you can attest to this, and without getting into anybody's specifics or anything, it's the best we can do right now. It's going to happen when it can realistically and funly happen, which will be not too long from now. I don't think.
I think that I think it's felicitous. I think the break is appropriate, and I know it's odd, but the movie Crystal Skull is an odd installment.
Right. If you're going to take a weird, long, crazy break during any of the movies, it would be this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's consistent.
Okay. You don't think we're bad people?
That not for this reason.
Okay. I mean, I'm seeing this list of names here of people who are sticking with us, and I both feel, again, guilty, but also thankful. I'm grateful for these nice people, and they make me think maybe we're not bad people for only talking about Star Wars every couple of weeks instead of Crystal Skull every day.
Well, we had to go with, I don't know. It's just, I mean, Star Wars is fun.
Yeah, we were having fun.
Indiana Jones is fun too, but Star Wars is really fun.
Yeah. Do we want to spend a pandemic talking about Crystal Skull, or would we rather spend it talking about Star Wars?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of those beautiful people who are sticking with us and supporting the show during this weird period in everybody's lives, we want to thank the beautiful people like 2-1 Beckett and Andrew with 2 A's and Temba, their arms open. Gilgamesh. I should still make you watch that episode. You'd like it. We also want to thank Airport Says we've got the best podcasters on the Best Minutes podcast. Check it out, chum. Thebestminutes.com. Yeah, that just launched this past week. The Best Minutes podcast. The best years of our lives. The Jim O'Kane masterminded, rotating Movies by Minutes hosted show. And this week we had the Wilder Ride guys. They started us off, and next week is somebody else. And then we're like 3 or 4 weeks in, I think, us guys. So yeah, that'll be fun. Check it out. It's a good movie. It's a good movie to revisit. We also want to thank Aliens Come to Learn About Earth Music. What one album from the last 40 years do you give them? Holy smokes.
Wow.
Now that's what I call music volume 18.
Oh, stop it. Wow.
That wasn't sincere.
That's an excellent.
I want to take 40 years seriously. What is, do the math. What was 40? Oh, God, it was 40. Oh, geez. 1981? Was that 40 years ago?
So here's what's interesting. I was going to say, do you give them something? Well, I guess if many people would say like, oh, give them the Beatles' White Album or something. Give them the Beatles like, greatest hits or one of those, compilations or something, and you'd be like, okay, that's the best music of the 20th century, pop. So would you choose something like that? That is sort of like, I know this is what most of the people. I don't know. Many of people on Earth or, in America or in whatever you want to say, who are familiar with this of the last 50, they would say that this is probably the choice that would, democratically, this might be the most popular choice that you might make the most amount of people happy. Just across the board. Not too many people. But does this mean,
are we assuming that we're the only people giving them the one album? Like they're going to get one album from Earth?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Is this our contribution to the one? Like they're going to get.
No, I think they only get one album from Earth. Oh, they only get one album from Earth. And so that's what I'm saying. Do you choose something that is like blue chip stock for the planet?
See, if you do that though, how does this work? Because I was going to say, if you do that, most people on Earth are going to be sorely disappointed and be like, you gave them the Dirty Dancing soundtrack or something like that. Like, what? That's such white bread, milk toast, vanilla bean, mitten water nonsense. We could have given them something cool. But if it's like the lowest common denominator answer, then everybody would, a lot of people would be into that. I don't know.
What's that?
Me personally, I mean,
you personally.
When did Exit Stage Left come out?
1984, and I listened to it this morning.
Are you dead serious? That came out in 1984?
1984.
I don't believe you. Really?
Actually, no, it might be 83. Really? It might be 83.
I wish I had a computer in front of me.
Favorite album of No, I mean
Exit.
That's my favorite record. Yeah. I think that album has like the most meaning. To me. It's not the sort of thing that I...
God, you're a terrible Rush fan. October 29th, 1981.
Oh, I'm a terrible Rush fan.
I thought 81? It was like right almost in sync with Moving Pictures because it had Tom Sawyer
really?
on it.
It was 81?
Yeah, according to this computer. Computers don't lie.
So is it the question... I want to know... Wow, I didn't even know. Is that when it was recorded or is that when it came out?
That's when it was released.
Now I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, I don't want to do the show with you anymore.
No, it's fine.
You made it weird. That'd be on the list.
I might give him like Van Halen's 1984.
Yeah.
He'd be like, just be like, hey, we have a good time here on Earth.
Right. Oh, I said the words tread water before. Maybe I would give them De La Soul 3 Feet High and Rising. Maybe.
Yeah, that's good. That's
a really good record.
That is.
People would be mad because we don't know anything from like the last 10 years. So it's like that's totally out of the running.
Yeah.
Like, why did they pick Jerry and Tom? And why did Pete have to be out? He would have had some good answers.
Yeah, I know.
How come the aliens showed up when Pete wasn't around?
People really put out albums. I mean, it's kind of like singles and the albums don't have the epic flavor they once did,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think if I was in the situation, and it could easily happen, aliens could easily come here and say, Tom Taylor, you're the one guy who can give us music from the last 40 years. What's the one album? I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd be like, you know what? I can't make this. Everyone's going to be mad at me no matter what. Or maybe 5 people will agree with me. So I'll just go with my gut. I'll go with what I really think is the best album of the last 40 years, and I'll give it to. And I feel like that was probably the meaning of this question from Sean. Like, what is the best gift to give to aliens from the last 40 years? I don't know. Maybe I would just say De La Soul. I don't know.
You wouldn't pick Neil Young?
Maybe. You know what I might pick? Maybe you're right, Cherry. I was trying to think of albums that actually came out since 81 that would be. By the way, we could put the Raiders of the Lost Ark soundtrack on there. That'd be pretty good.
Oh, sure.
Maybe Reactor by Neil Young. I really like that record.
Is that the weird one where he's in the 80s?
No, that's Trans. That's another really good one.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange one.
But that's like half brilliant and the rest is kind of okay. But like most of Reactor has T-Bone, your favorite song.
That's a very interesting song.
Yeah. It's got a lot of really good stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I might try to pick a Neil Young. I might try to pick a De La Soul.
I feel bad.
I'd probably give him Exit Stage Left.
I feel like well, that's what I would like to give him, that or 1984. But I feel like if you gave him the Beatles, then at least everybody's just like.
Yeah, what would you give him from the Beatles since 1981?
Well, that's a problem.
Like, I mean, do you give him like that box set from like
1992 some dumbass compilation or whatever, something. No, that horrible box set that sucked.
Yeah,
I think I worked at
I never even heard
Borders when that came out, and they touted it as like the biggest thing of all time, and it was like alternate versions of this and that, and demo versions. If you're a total Beatles fan, it was cool and it was great. If you were interested in like the mono version of, you're like sure, but it wasn't.
Now my life's complete.
Yeah, and that was fine as a fan like that, but it just, it just wasn't as good as like their song. It was disappointing.
We should have texted Pete like 5 minutes into this conversation to see what his answer would be. That's all right. We'll get him next time. I don't think we answered that well at all, but it's okay. We gave people a lot to think about. So when the aliens do come up, we'll be ready. Not at all. We also want to thank Brady. We want to thank Brent, who's sorry about the mess. Hey, that's coming up in this next conversation.
That's fun.
Yeah. And the mess is not your fault, Brent. We don't blame you. We also want to thank Brian and Carson, and Chewy has a barrow in the marketplace. Mala is the singer in a band, and the names have switched around, so there's no second verse to that anymore. We had a fun couple of months with that, though. That was good. We want to thank Christopher, who's fairly new, I think. He just joined us recently. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you.
I want to thank Cubs fan and Curtis, our old buddy Curtis. And we want to thank Dan. And Darth Patreonus asks, would you travel to the past or the future, and when would you choose?
God, that's tough. I can really come back, right? I can come back.
I would think so. You've got to be able to come back, right? Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I just watched a really good episode of Futurama where they go deep, deep into the future. Like they're on a one-way time machine and can only travel into the future. And I don't think any of those things would happen. But
I think I would go back to like right around, what is it? Like right around 28 AD, 27 AD. And I'd be like, hey, does anybody know where Jesus is? And, I'd be like, have you seen this guy? Yeah. And I'd be like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
I got a lot of questions.
Yeah. And since you're from the future for those guys, you'd kind of be like, oh, hey, listen, I don't know if you want to say it that way. It's going to be misconstrued.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can like rewrite it or something a little bit.
How about Lilies of the Field? That's got a nice, like sort of lilting ring to it. I think that, they don't toil, right?
That would be. Are you sure you want to pick a mustard seed?
Yeah.
It's a lot of, it's very.
Like madly scribbling on your slate thing in the background.
That would be, I think that's where I'd go.
Okay.
That's where I go. I mean, the future would be fascinating too. But if I feel like saying if you could go back and figure out that part of it, with Jesus Christ, then the future, you'd be like, oh, well, that kind of lays the land for what, what's going to happen for the rest of the cosmos.
And the future is a total, pot shot. Like I wouldn't know what to, I'll go 50 years in the future. Like, I don't know what to look forward to or to expect or, I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be weird. I would go back to like, I don't know. I always think like, oh, the 20s might be neat, or I guess, I don't know. If you go back, it's like, I don't know. I was going to ask you this, like, independent of this question. Like, people always say, like, oh, I wish I was 20 again. I wish I was 21 again. I wish I was 15 again. Like, and I'm like, wait, do you wish that you were 15 again? Or do you wish that you were back in your life at the point you were 15? Like, you don't want to be like in 2021 and be 15 again, do you? You want to be like back in your life to like redo stuff or something or make different decisions or something, right?
Well, that's the thing. If you're actually 15 again,
That'd be a nightmare.
If you didn't know what you know now, it would be moot. It would be, you would just be 15
what
again.
would be the point? Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't learn the lessons. You didn't have the tools that you had to fashion since you were 15.
Yeah.
So yes, if I was just 15 again, it would just be like nothing. I'd just be exactly the same.
Exactly.
I assume you have your today's mind and thoughts with being back in the situation and the body of a 15-year-old.
Hey,
they're gonna have to cut that.
Why are you saying it that way? Yeah, this has gotten disturbing. I don't understand where this is going. I'd probably go back and see Star Wars for the first time. I'd go wait in line for Star Wars. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
something boring like that. Yeah. Be kind of fascinating.
I mean, it would be great. I would not want to. I mean, if I was 15, I would go to like my teachers and I'd be like, "Listen, this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but I've done all this. I know, but I'm not gonna do the report on Christopher Columbus. But it's
I'm living that dream I used to have sometimes, where I'm in class and I realize I've graduated from high school.
Like, no, it's okay. Go ahead, ask me anything. It's all right.
I've been to college. I have a job.
Yeah.
I have a mortgage. You can't do anything to me.
No, I know how to shave now. It's all right.
Right. May not look like it.
That's the thing. I wouldn't want to have to write all the reports and take the SATs and apply to colleges again.
Yeah. See, what you would go back to Jesus's time, but as at least a 30-year-old. I'm gonna be 50 this year, by the way. That's nuts.
Oh my God, is that right?
Yeah, it's coming for
really?
you too, pal. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I was 10.
Wait, by this
when
year,
I could give away my oldest record.
You mean
to the
in
aliens.
like 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've been 40 in my 40s for a very long time. I remember my 40th birthday. That was a long time ago.
I'm running away from this conversation. Like I'm paddling as fast as I can.
I know.
Go.
I mean, speaking of 15, I mean, like, honestly, like people talk about this and half seriously joke about it and stuff, but like, I do not feel much older than, I don't know, 28. Not feel like I feel like a tub of 60-year-old lard or something, but like mentally, I'm like, I don't look in the mirror and go like, oh, there's a 50-year-old man. I go, oh, the inner workings inside that head, maybe 28, maybe 15, maybe 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, look who you're talking with.
I know exactly. No, I'm saying you and me, we're the same. We're weirdos.
I'm like weirdos. A couple
Our whole
of clicks,
generation is like that. I think.
A couple of clicks past college.
Yeah. Maybe in college. I don't know. In college, I was in high school, and in high school, I was peeing my pants. Oh boy. All right. Well, we'll talk more about this as I turn 50. Yeah, I know, really. Pete's never going to be 50.
No.
We also want to thank Dave and Guy Wearing Headphones and our old pal Doris and Eric and Fables of Falbus. There's Pete.
There he is.
And we want to thank Febo. Late Xmas question, which is better? Jingle Bell Rock or Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree?
Oh my God, that's really, really hard.
I thought you'd like that. For some reason, that's very easy for me. I'm not sure why.
Hang on. So wait. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Mm-hmm. Rocking around the Christmas tree. I really like the Rocking Around the Christmas Tree swing. Is that Peggy Lee?
Somebody like that.
I like. Okay,
Don't make
what's
me look
yours?
stuff up again. Without thinking about it too hard, I would say Jingle Bell Rock.
Interesting.
It's just got a good. I like most of the versions of it, and it seemed I don't like songs about rock and roll or that refer too much to rock and roll or rock. So I think that Jingle Bell Rock. Maybe this doesn't hold up to scrutiny if I actually looked at the lyrics, but I feel like that's less about rock than Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's I
Okay.
just looked it up. It's Brenda Lee.
Oh,
Brenda
okay.
Lee. Yeah. I neither one is my favorite, but
All right.
I guess I pick
Yeah.
Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, and I don't know
Okay.
why.
Fine.
There's no reason.
All right. That was a good, more solid answer though than the last few questions we've done. I feel proud for us. We also want to thank Father David.
Yeah.
We want to thank George Leroy Tire Biter. They never deliver into the hills, these guys. We also want to thank Guy who spots in. Oh, this is a new patron over here. Guy who spots Indy on the submarine wants to know if you've been on any bad dates. First of all, thank you for your eagle-eyedness. You saved the day back then on the submarine. That was excellent of you. Thank you, spotting Indy. That could not have been easy. Yeah, I've been on some bad dates. Sure. I assume you have too, Jerry.
I
Pete
have.
has not.
I absolutely no. Pete, I don't think anybody's
plans
ever been
ahead.
He's never been. Yeah, no one's ever been on a bad date with Pete. They come away swooning. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not exactly a traditionalist. I mean, I never was like kind of a like, okay, I'll pick you up for sushi at 7 on the dot.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Tonight's the night.
So I kind of, I mean, sometimes that works in your favor, and I suppose sometimes it doesn't throughout life. You're like, I found out later, they're like, nah, he was like, I don't know, wearing like tennis shoes and like, like he brought his dog to the end of the restaurant.
Right. They asked him to leave, and that was it.
Yeah, he had a parakeet on his shoulder. And I kind of like
80-year-old man smoking pot behind him.
Yeah. I find out later. I was like, what? Yeah. So I'm not really probably the best person to ask in terms of how that's gone in my life. I just kind of bump into people, and then they go.
But outings with a potentially romantic bent to them that have possibly gone bad.
Yes,
or not been great.
That's happened. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assume so. Yeah. I had that period. I had that very strange. Well, it was like 2000 or 2001. I had some year where I was like, I'm gonna get online and see what's up, and see who's out there. I'm gonna take the world by storm. Hello, world. It's me, Tom Taylor. Want to go out? And that's some weird stuff. Yeah,
that's important. You know what? It's important to get outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean, that was the sort of thing like, you try something and then the universe just whatever, and like I spent like a weird year doing that. Yeah. And the second I like set fire to everything, it was like, that's it, everybody leave me alone. Then like, oh look, there's Jody. Maybe I'll ask her if she wants to hang out. All right.
No, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's good.
So there.
Yeah.
You see, if you just set everything on fire, everything falls into place. We also want to thank Headpiece. Totes gonna burn right now. And we want to thank Hillary. And if the stuffing doesn't come from inside the turkey, please sound the alarm. And we want to thank Indy 5. What 1970s Spielberg universe character should cameo, if any?
Wow.
Holy mackerel.
A Spielberg character.
Yeah. From the 70s.
Ooh, what about the mayor?
I guess
mayor from Jaws.
That's pretty hot. I was thinking the chief from Jaws.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't want to. Don't CGI anybody. Let's just live in a universe where these people haven't died yet and they're still the same age from the 70s.
Right.
If you could have Roy Scheider interacting with like a 70s era Indiana Jones, I think that'd be kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What are you nuts, Dr. Jones? Get out of here. You can't take on the whole whatever by yourself. Suicide, whatever. I don't know. He'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Or the mayor would be great. Yeah, the mayor would be like in his way and
the mayor would be he'd be a little bit like Porkins. You're like he's a good guy.
There's no problem. I'm just dealing with it.
Yeah, exactly. He's a good guy, or maybe he's not a good. He's bureaucracy. He's unfettered capitalism. We're gonna keep the beaches open.
Right.
You knew.
My kids were on that beach too. Yeah, There are a few. That'll be good.
Yeah.
That should happen. You should just run into all the 70s characters we love. We want to thank it's Jonathan.
Hooray.
And Jasmine. And Jay asks, what's your favorite Sam Jackson role? Oh, that's good.
Terrific.
That's a good question.
Yeah. For me, it's easy. I mean, I would say, Pulp Fiction.
I figured you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that he's not amazing or great in some other films too, but I think that's just an incredibly memorable role. And also I remember seeing that in the theater several times when it first came out. And I was like, I was floored. I was like, it was a very different type of movie for its time.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And I was just like, what is happening? I can't believe this. Oh my God. So
yeah.
That's just one of those where it's a great character. It's a great, Samuel L. Jackson's terrific in it. And also the time, that nexus where all of them came together,
One thing that always bugs me in that movie is he calls that guy Flock of Seagulls, even though his haircut isn't a thing like Flock of Seagulls.
But see, that's kind of great because it also shows you he's just like, it's
he
like a passing. Yeah, it's sort of a passing name. Like he doesn't get it perfect. You know what I mean? He's just kind of saying, you with the goofy hair.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You could have said like, hey, Sha-na-na or something.
Right.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. That makes sense. I have a very, like, no one's going to agree with me at all, but I'm going over it in my head and you're not going to know what I'm talking about even. I think he's great in Captain Marvel from last year, a couple years ago. And they de-aged him because it takes place in the 90s and he's having fun. He's like, he's not like complete badass guy. He's kind of laughing about stuff and having a good time, but he's also getting stuff done and he's charming and he's cool. And I don't think we get to see enough of that with him sometimes. There's probably other movies that I'm totally forgetting where he does that completely, but that's my answer and I'm sticking with it.
Sure.
So there. Thank you, Jay. And thank you, Jeff. And thank you, John. And thank you, Joshua and Exorable Tash. And thanks to Ken and Lori and Mark. And Mark, meeting you, asks, have you ever met one of your heroes? Jerry met one buying some bean burritos and red wine and Slim Jims at the 7-Eleven.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met a lot.
We've discussed this
before, we did.
We?
I think we had this one before. There's several. I mean, I've met a lot of my heroes actually. I mean, living in Los Angeles, I mean, there's all sorts of drummers, and you just kind of run into them, and pretty soon you're friends with them, and that's kind of it was one of the reasons I moved here. I came out to visit, and I within like 2 weeks of I was here for 2 or 3 weeks, and within 2 or 3 weeks of just visiting my friend, I had already met like 2 or 3 of my heroes, and that was a very different experience than living in Ohio. So there's just obviously if you're into music, there's a music industry here. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah,
you met the singer from oh my God, Bow Wow Wow.
I auditioned for Bow Wow Wow.
Yeah.
I played I Want Candy.
That's awesome.
Bow. Yeah, it was like one of the audition songs.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's things like that there's there's a lot of them. There's a lot of that out here. So
yeah. I was on a plane with William Shatner. I didn't say anything to him because I'm a mensch.
Incredible.
I left him alone.
Yeah.
Gave him the greatest gift a celebrity can ever receive. Not saying a thing.
Yeah.
And I met Ray Bradbury once. That was very cool. And Meatloaf. He's not one of my heroes, but I met Meatloaf once. We also want to thank Matt and Matthew and Michael and Mom to Remy and Drew and Natalie and Natsuki Best Doki. Oh, and Neil asks, favorite Star Wars general or admiral? That is a trick question. The answer is, of course, Admiral Mummert from the Chris Eliopoulos comic book. Next question.
That I can't do well on that. That one's really hard. I don't really keep them. I don't have any particular fondness. I think
I always liked.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I like the one guy who goes. He kind of stammers and he goes. He thought it wise, but and that guy gets cut off.
That's our buddy Donovan from Last Crusade.
Yeah,
he felt surprise was wiser.
Yeah, that's what he says. And
yeah,
I don't know why I like that guy, but
yeah, he is good. And I like General Reiking on Hoth with the little Purina dog chow insignia on his thing.
Oh yeah,
good fighter. Although I hate to lose you, he's good. He's solid. Yeah. There are probably better answers again. I always feel like, why am I always apologizing for our answers, Jerry? We're doing fine. We're doing fine. Sheesh. We want to thank Nicholas. And we want to thank None But Unbelievable. And we want to thank Orange Bee Cooper and Patrick and Pella and Pork Snorter House and Raiders of the Lost Hatch. That's beautiful. Thank you, Steve. We want to thank Runebot, Techno Union Rep, and Sasha and Scott Roseanne. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
And we want to thank Sean and Steve and Stina and Sully Baseball, our old buddy Sully. And we want to thank Tears for Veers and the Carlisles and the Wilder Ride. And Tierney is making a Close Encounters of the Third Kind podcast. Check it out.
Hey. Congrats.
That's very cool.
That's wonderful. That is.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
I've seen some buzz on Facebook about that, so we'll check that out. We want to thank Tim and Timmy Bricks and Tom and Trinko has been and always shall be your patron. That's nice. So beautiful. And we want to thank Vibrant Visionaries with Heidi Bennett and Wendy. And what's the internal temperature of a tauntaun, Jerry? This is a question for you. What's the internal temperature of a tauntaun?
Well, it's got to be... Got to think about that. Well, now he's dead. I mean, it's got to be close to, 98.6-ish. Might be a little bit. Might be a little bit more. It could be like 100 or 101 or something like that.
Sure.
What is it?
The correct answer is lukewarm.
Who the hell said that?
That was our buddy Dengar Dave. And you apologize. That's a solid joke. That is a solid joke.
That's actually
lukewarm.
Really good.
So you're probably right. I mean, if Luke's it might be a little lower than 98 or something.
Let me ask you this about Empire. What's the first time you noticed that Tan is that Empire snarky? Is it when he goes, "That's right, and my friend's out in it"?
I think even before that, he's shutting up 3PO and stuff and grabs him by the face and it's possible. Why don't you go find out? He's yelling at the dude and everything.
Yeah, he's
kind of pissed off from the very beginning.
Yeah, he's pissed off from the very beginning.
And he yells at Leia and everything. They have their thing in the hallway.
He's a different Han Solo.
A little bit.
Yeah, you see a different
he's
side
frustrated
of him.
at the beginning.
Right.
He's itching to get out of there.
A different side of him is what I should say. He's
The last time you saw him, he had just come back and he's totally on the team and you're so excited and everybody's together again and they save the day. And now he's kind of looking at his watch. He's like, okay. I gotta go. Don't get all mushy on me. I'm going. He'll keep calling me. He'll make me feel guilty. I'll go. We also want to thank when y'all nugless a scratch for Pete. It's kind of bittersweet because Pete's not here.
Yeah.
All right. I can't wait till we're going to hear Pete in just a few minutes when we start talking about Star Wars. And it's going to be really nice.
Whole thing.
Can't wait for him to get here. And last but certainly not least, we want to thank Zaction.
Yeah.
Jerry likes that one. Made Jerry all excited with Zaction. So that's it. Those are all the beautiful people who are supporting us over at Patreon. If you want to do the same thing, we are at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. By golly, if you go over there, you could get postcards from me. I got to write my postcards for January. You get postcards every month from me and Jerry and Pete. You could get early access to these shows. You get all sorts of fun stuff. So check it out. But thank you, even if you're just, times are weird. Everybody can't be shelling out money for us. For God's sake, we understand. We're thankful for what we can get. We're just thankful to have you listening. You're awesome. Everybody within the sound of my voice, you're awesome, including my son who's playing video games over there. You're awesome, Sam.
Well, and also just we talk about the Indiana Jones Minute Listeners Crusade. All the people on there who contribute, either starting posts or answering, posts. It's commenting. It's actually really, really fun and really fun.
It is.
I love it.
Yeah, we got some brilliant people on there.
That's really,
and we
really
got like,
fun.
And it's I don't think it's just because we've kind of stalled with Crystal Skull and Indiana Jones movies, but there's also like, there's other interests coming in there and stuff, and everybody's kind of on the same page, and oh, Doctor Who references, oh, Columbo, hey, Star Trek, like Mountain Dew, other stuff is coming in, and it's all good and fun and awesome and communal. It's good.
Yep.
So Jerry, go get your dad a what do they call it? Like a spliff? Is that the term? I've never in my life smoked pot. Have you? I know the answer to this, but I'll put it in the form of a question. Have you ever smoked pot, Jerry?
I've never smoked pot.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Wait, have you never smoked pot?
I never have, and I'm not like your dad, like thinking like, oh, maybe I ought to, but I'm like, I suppose I could. I don't know.
Sure. Well, we all could.
Exactly, but it's more and more a possibility. Viable option, but no, I don't know. I have a feeling. I think I told the story before. I had friends in high school who, I didn't drink in high school and everything. I was a total like just staying away from that as much as I could. And this guy was like, "Dude, you're hysterical. You're awesome. I want to get drunk with you." I'm like, "No, wait, just a minute. You just said I'm awesome. Right now, in this moment, I'm awesome and hysterical. Why would you want to alter that with something else?" And I'm going to get bored and walk away immediately. So yeah, I wonder if like I want to stay cool by not doing drugs, Jerry.
Somebody once told me they
Thanks,
were
McGruff.
Somebody who had had a chapter in their life where they had done a lot of drugs, and they actually they just said, "Oh, Jerry, please don't ever do drugs. That would make me really, really sad."
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a very good friend of mine, and they kind of said it not in any like tisk or anything. They just said like, I don't know. Right. It makes me sad to think of you like on, drugs. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of.
That's nice.
It was. I was a little bit like, oh well, okay. I don't want to make you sad.
I like that. That's good advice. As somebody who cares.
The truth is also if I like something, I'll keep doing it.
That's
that for me. I mean,
like,
it's
I
that's
guess I'm
just
this
me.
Guy now.
Yeah, It's hard enough for me to drop Mountain Dew and all that. It's like if I like it, and I am my own boss, I wake up at like 11 o'clock in the morning every morning. Like it's like there's not a lot. Yeah, there wouldn't be a lot. Stopping me from just doing drugs every day because I believe it's great.
From what I hear, it's
fantastic. I mean, if you're hawking your grandma's giant, wedding ring, it's probably really damn good. Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to do that for something that's boring and stupid.
I kind of
for the greatest feeling in your life.
Kind of,
come on, kids.
Yeah, I reverse engineer that. And go, huh? It's probably not the best idea for a guy who is a complete hedonist to begin with.
I've also had people tell me like, oh, the thing with you, Tom, is that your natural state is what people are trying to achieve by getting high. Apparently I'm more than one person has said this to me that I seem like I am on pot or something, or that I have a kind of cool mellowness, not cool like Fonzie, but just kind of like, hey, things don't get you down. You're doing all right.
A lot of people, I think a lot of people either like they drink or sometimes some people sometimes smoke pot to like. Either to sort of bring down the boundaries or the insecurities, or give them liquid courage, or sort of join what's happening in a room or at a bar or at a concert. And so if you don't, if you're not already, there's a certain, I guess, insecurity that could come with that. I mean, if in a way you're secure in not having that, then you don't necessarily need it. And when you're in those, formative years where everything sucks and you're 15.
Yeah,
that's hard. I mean, people
if I just have
that.
a beer in my hand, that'll take care of like 90% of my insecurity. Okay,
absolutely,
let's go.
totally.
Yeah,
and I understand that. Yeah.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about. If I go back to high school and I go back to my high school body and my high school situation, I start drinking to make life easier for myself. Now I had a fine time.
Well, I'll say this: you actually are pretty much, you and our good friend Joe, who we should have had on our podcast instead of Pete, but Pete bumped him out.
Joe would have been here. Yeah, Joe shows up.
No, he. You guys are the reasons I didn't drink in high school. Yeah. So for whatever it's worth, that's just the way it went.
Well, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Tommy. Thank you.
Now go get high with your dad. So yeah, there's all this carnage in the cantina, but then we cut outside, and if we didn't know that the stormtroopers are horrible at their jobs, they are out there like questioning some dude while the droids that they are looking for are standing about 20 feet away watching them talk to this dude. And they're talking to everybody in town except for the droids that they're looking for. And I find that impressive.
It's also not just a dude, it's like a Civil War reenactor, like he's like a 19th century German carpenter. And there's a guy in the cantina right before this who's like a Civil War reenactor, like next to the guy smoking the hookah.
Oh, right.
I think the human costumes in this are weirder than the alien costumes.
You know what's is strange is everybody outside is human.
Yeah.
For the most part, there might be a few little things, but you're like, it's just made me think like, so are the humans all teetotalers? or do the aliens, like, can aliens be alcoholics?
Yeah. Or are the aliens, the air toxic to aliens?
Interesting.
Oh, maybe. And they have weird to be in the cantina to breathe.
They're like the pressurized cantina.
Maybe it's a sunlight thing.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. And they're all solitary humans.
Yeah, they're all bored and lonely. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I guess there's a party of aliens going on in the cantina, but I wasn't invited.
What if everybody, like all the people on the outside were, hey, we don't serve your kind.
Yeah, weirdo humans.
Like the guy just kicked out whoever he wanted.
Yeah.
You know what?
You got a Civil War cap. Get out of here.
One thing that really struck me, because we recently talked about the holiday special, is like when you watch this, you think, well, these are all pilots that are just in town for a couple hours before they take off again. Mm-hmm. But in the holiday special, you realize that every one of these people is still here a year later. Like they're just on a huge bender, or they're all like they're regulars.
That's actually hilarious. It makes me think of like, are they the people? Like, I feel like this is like the airport bar.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's
like you go to the airport bar and it's the same people every single time.
Yeah. It's the same people a year and a half later. So it's the 70s. And if you think about, like, remember the movie Airplane, where there's like all the people that are like, Jews for Jesus, that are kind of like they're selling stuff at that. I wonder if it's that. Like all the people who sort of live or work at the airport bar.
So these are all like Hare Krishnas, like waiting. Like this is where they go on their off hours when they're not trying to convert.
Yeah. They're waiting to jump on, the fresh meat as it comes into the spaceport.
And like, is Han Solo, would he be here a year from now if he didn't get this job?
Yeah, that's what I wonder. I wonder if some of these guys just practically are like, oh, okay, I just finished a job. It took me out here to Tatooine. I'll get a drink at the bar. And then it's like, I don't really have another job lined up. So I guess I'll just hang out at the bar for a year or until somebody comes along, either chops my arm off or I get a gig flying somebody someplace. You know, and Han Solo happens to get a job, so he gets to leave.
Are all the jobs illegal? Like, is this where you go for, like, you're going to do some crime jobs?
I don't know. I mean, it could be like, maybe like Yeah, I don't know why Ben. Why are they? Yeah, why are they not just going to like the bus station or something? Why are they going to like the airport, the spaceport? You know,
Because
like, I mean,
nobody's
this town is a spaceport, but they're going
Yeah.
through like these sort of seedy channels. Is that strictly because they're not on the lam, but they're laying
They've
low?
got two
they
hot
don't want any
droids.
imperial entanglements. Yeah,
Well, he says this is where all the best fighter pilots are.
yeah.
Which
So-
is I find difficult to believe, but
That is
just based on the
weird.
fact that these guys never leave the bar.
Right.
Well, yeah. So is Han Solo visiting?
Yeah.
I mean, he is, right? Like he's
or does he live on
Okay,
Tatooine?
so-
Well, he works for Jabba the Hutt, or at least
he
is
works for
currently.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
But does he have a house? Like, does he have
So-
a ranch house just outside of town?
I doubt it. I think he sleeps on the Falcon, and that's it. That's his
No,
RV.
he's got to sleep. Yeah.
So he's like
His
an
Winnebago.
RVer.
Yeah.
Jer, I know you like looking at instruments as I do, like musical instruments.
Oh, yeah.
And we get a good close up of the instruments that the Cantina band is playing. And I
yeah.
like how they all kind of sway in time, like a 1940s big band orchestra.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But it's interesting because the instruments they're playing have the same design as the lightsabers.
Oh, weird. What do you mean?
yeah, that
It's
is
kind of the
kinda
same,
strange.
like they look kind of like lightsabers.
Oh
And
my
is that
god,
just
they
like
do.
the Star Wars design at like ethos or
Yeah, maybe. That's weird.
also? But here's
I-
here's a music question for you, Jer. Is the music they're playing, is this like top of the charts hip new music, or is this like nostalgic? These are covers from bands that played like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question.
Like they're playing
I feel-
Pennsylvania 65000 in the 70s or something.
Yeah, is this the Beer Barrel Polka? You have to ask yourself what type of music is going to be played in a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's very danceable music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yet no one is dancing.
Well, not today, but they will be on Life Day.
Right.
Well, no,
So we
for
know
sure.
that they do dance to it.
So
Well, it's a holiday, Pete. You know.
yeah. So it's for some reason I think that it's cutting edge music.
Mm.
But I don't to us it's obviously has it's big band.
Yeah.
So it feels like they're playing something from 40 or now
Yeah.
80 years ago.
Yeah.
But it doesn't strike me as that in the scene. I mean, two things. One, I love the one guy who's sitting down and he's playing like what looks like a roulette table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason I'm like, oh, that's obviously the keyboardist.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what, because he's sitting,
Yeah.
but he's like, the other things kind of have like a woodwind vibe.
Yeah, they all
or
feel like
something,
reeds.
Mhm.
reeds, yeah, something like that. But that dude's like sitting and he's kind of like he's massaging this circular thing with this beautiful finial,
Yeah.
or that rises up from the middle of the instrument, I guess. But my question is to you, Pete. So the B side, the more insouciant number they play,
Uh-huh.
right as I think Ben says, Chewie here says we can go over here. I want you to sing that melody because it's fascinating. Pete, sing that melody.
The doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo,
Yep,
doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo,
keep going.
doo-doo-doo, 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 doo-doo-doo.
That was beautiful.
Oh, okay, hold on. Now, what I noticed, I listened to this. That whole second part of it, it goes.
That's total like Gene Krupa, like
It's it's
Benny
really
Goodman.
syncopated.
yeah.
And it's a very, it's kind of like an angular way to end the phrase.
I actually have always wondered if that's a kind of repeating the sand person kind of thing. Like, Yes. Like tack on a little extra bit or something.
This is why I bring it up. So it does that. And you're like, okay, that's pretty hip. But what's interesting, that music plays the entire rest of the scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the background. Yeah. If you have headphones on, you can hear it over and over. Then it goes to a B section where it's like vibraphones. It's like, and it's really nice. But every time they come back to that original head, it never does that phrase again. It ends. It goes da 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 da.
Huh. Oh, interesting.
And it just stops. And you're like, oh, it kind of stops on like a stick. They just kind of stick it.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Boom.
Da da da. You know, it's really interesting. It's like the only time they add that flourish.
Oh, that's wow.
Yeah.
It's also a very like Charlie Parker kind of flourish when the da da da.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
It made me think of the Sand People thing too. Like, was that just a weird edit? Or did they have like 2 takes of it?
That one was like they just reversed it. Like they went forward and backwards a couple of times just to extend the cut, I guess. The
maybe that was it.
But then I think this is, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Like I haven't listened to like just like the soundtrack version of this to see if that is there. But it always sounds and feels tacked on to me. Like they just needed an extra 2 seconds of music to end on that note or something.
I'll have to listen to that again.
It does sound and feel. It's either tacked on or you're like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's like really kind of.
But that does sound very like 40s, like big band, like the big finale. They're like when you end a song, but they're not ending the song, which is funny.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right about the vibe section too, though.
Yeah.
The vibe section?
The vibe section's gorgeous. Like
It is.
By the way, it's Han Solo. We meet Han Solo.
We meet Han Solo. Yes.
Is Han Solo racist? Oh
no, go no, but believe it. Go no, continue, Pete. Go on.
Is Ben a racist?
Is Ben a racist?
Like does he, because he goes into this place filled with aliens and he chooses the human? Like would he have chosen Han would he have chosen the devil
Chewbacca,
guy?
Though.
Yeah, he goes with Chewbacca.
Yeah. Chewbacca.
But he
says Chewbacca here tells me.
Does he go with? But he goes with Chewbacca after talking to the other human guy. Like I'm just curious.
That's
like,
true.
Would he have gone with the devil guy, or would he have gone with like the Wolf Man? Or
all right, baby. I think you would. Yeah, if Han Solo turned out to be a green scaly monster like he was supposed to be originally, then I think he still would have gone with him.
But why? See, what I don't get is why does he trust Chewbacca?
He's got it on his face.
There's a lot of trust in this scene that I don't understand.
There is a lot of trust in this scene.
On both sides.
Maybe Ben's just like, look, we've got to get the hell out of here in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter. So as long as we pay them, they're gonna get us off this damn rock.
Yeah.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Is there, Tommy, what makes Han Solo's entrance so beautiful?
It's super subtle. It's not even like an intro. He's just there. Like we were coming in like at the very beginning of this conversation. And it's not like, and here is Han Solo.
Yeah.
He just sort of shows up. He's in mid sitting down.
Yeah.
Just introducing himself.
I think he scoots into the booth.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, shove over,
which is great. And he goes, Han Solo. And you're like, there's no fanfare. As a matter of fact, it's almost like you interrupted the scene.
Right. Yeah. Like we missed something. Like
it's almost like, it's like he's not walking through the door or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's very smooth.
It is. It's
not like, the movie is not introducing like Harrison Ford, who's later going to be Indiana Jones and everything, and super mega star and everything. It's introducing this cool guy who we're going to like, who's a smooth character and kind of a hot shot, and he's just cool.
I didn't like him.
Oh, really?
Oh, in the movie?
No, as a kid, like until Empire came out, I did not like Han Solo.
Oh, interesting. How come?
I thought he was mean to Luke. And like I didn't like that he was he was just looking out for himself. But I kind of, as a little kid, I didn't like him.
Wow, that's interesting.
Well, he's threatening.
He is. He's threatening.
Yeah. Especially if you're a little kid, you're like,
yeah.
He says some things that are he's he's a wisecracker. You know, he.
It's not guaranteed that you can count on him.
Yeah.
No.
And if you're like 4 years old, you're like, why isn't he helping?
Like, why does he want to?
Why isn't he helping? Is he watching the movie?
Right. Why doesn't he like Luke the way I do?
He's he's kind of like, I've flown from one side of this galaxy to the next, kid, and I've never seen anything that's whatever.
And you're like,
Ben said, wow.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, he doesn't believe.
Yeah.
He's a non-believer. He's taking all the magic away.
Yeah.
And his shirt is open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His shirt is open dirty. In a way
looks kind of dirty.
Yeah. It's very threatening.
Yeah.
Oh, we should ask Jerry because I don't know if he knows about this. In the original, I don't know if it's the original cut. There's a version of this scene that you can see where it's like even before Han Solo is introduced. It's like I think when the whole like Ben and Luke and Walrus Man stuff is going on, they cut to Han across the bar. And he's sitting between two women, and it's like a very like Fonzie kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like definitely like the cool guy, like lounging in the corner with like a couple of babes.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what would that like do? Would that have helped? Do you need that? Would you have barfed if you've seen that, or would you I don't think.
Well, if it's 1977, no, because I just knew that there's something called a vagina. So no, it would not have
spelled with a B.
Yes,
but not like as an adult. Like if you could possibly see if you were like 30 in 1977 and you see that, would you be like, oh, like I don't? Okay, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Would that have changed this introduction? Would that have like changed my idea about Han Solo?
Yeah.
If at 1930, if I'm 30 years old, yes, we don't need to see that. I don't need to see that. I can look at his shirt being open and how he slides into the booth and know that he is adroit with the ladies.
But see, no, I've never gotten that from Han Solo. Like I think that the image of him sitting between two women like that is kind of not the Han Solo that I know.
No, I mean,
I kind of
that's
agree
fair
too. It kind of makes him into like a Larry Dallas kind of guy.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a shorthand for a guy who he is not actually, he's not that guy.
Yeah.
Like the guys like him might be that guy, like the cool hotshot pilot. In your mental shorthand, you're like, oh yeah, he's surrounded by women and stuff, whatever. But like, I don't see that as part of his character. And like, even the way like he goes after Princess Leia over the course of 2 or 3 movies, it's kind of like, hey, she's neat.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to spend time on this because this is like, there's like an actual connection here or something. And I'm, this is worth paying attention to and working for or something.
Yeah.
No, that would just be kind of, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need that. I mean,
good cut.
Because whether or not you think he's a ladies' man, you're like, he's one of the coolest guys ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he's great with the ladies. I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not great with the ladies and it doesn't matter. That's still fine.
Right.
I don't care,
Maybe they were his sisters. We don't know.
Sure.
Well, can you watch this and not see Bob Falfa now?
Wow.
Like to me, it's amazing how closely he tracks with Bob Falfa in this scene.
Oh yeah. Now see the sitting between the two women, that would be a Bob Falfa move.
But Bob Falfa, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. But for Bob Falfa, that seems to be a pose too.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, okay, that's it. I think that's
Bob
it.
Falfa from American Graffiti, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like the name Bob Falfa sounds like an alien name from Star Wars.
It does.
Right. Boba Falfa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Han Solo is posery in the way that like a Bob Falfa is, where he would have to be like, hey, babies, come sit with a hot
I feel
shot
like he is a little
guy.
bit.
He is a little bit, but it's more like a self-promotion thing, or like it's more about him and his skills, like as a pilot.
I feel like there's an insecurity here, but
sure.
Speaking of that insecurity, there's something I don't understand at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a smuggler, Jerry, you're a smuggler, and you are always trying to fly under the proverbial radar. Do you want everybody in the galaxy to recognize your car?
No, I know what you mean. That was one of my questions. So does everybody in the bar know of the Millennium Falcon?
The answer might be yes, and that's dumb.
Or is he just trying to get the gig?
Yeah.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he just posturing?
You've never heard of my Honda Civic?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Which, when you say the word insecurity, that doesn't resonate. But when I hear this guy, this guy's under the gun and he needs to get this gig, that I kind of, because when the scene's done, he's like 17,000. This could really save my neck.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, his sort of his poker face just completely dropped.
He turns into Gil from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm getting off this rock. Things are looking up for old Han Solo.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But it's also, you'll like see he's a real person when he's talking to his best friend. When he's in the bar, he's just like, sorry about the mess.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Who's gonna fly, kid? You. I used to recite this entire scene to myself in my head as I was putting my son to bed when he was a tiny kid.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I need about 2 minutes. I'm going to give myself 2 minutes to just lay here, and then maybe he'll fall asleep, and then I'll slowly roll away and get on with my life. And I figured this scene was about 2 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did Sam have any theories on the Kessel Run?
No, but we keep fighting to not talk about other movies while we're talking about this one, but it's the ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. My slide rule here says that a parsec isn't a time, it's a distance and whatever. And now we have to make a whole Han Solo movie that explains how the Kessel Run works and how that's actually an impressive thing and whatever. And, they said parsecs. Parsecs isn't the word they wanted, and that's fine. Just go with it. We don't need to explain or figure it out or anything.
I even liked what I remember. I said, yeah, but parsecs is a different. It couldn't be. And people go, yeah, but the race could have been this.
Right.
And you're like, wow.
It's like a relay thing or something.
Yeah. Or like you had to finish some type of task or chore or score enough points.
Or it's like a reverse cannonball run where you have to go a distance. You have to go the least amount of time. Like you've gone the least distance during the time.
Right. The point is, we don't need a movie explaining it.
Yeah. Right.
No,
especially since the movie doesn't actually explain it.
But the script
it takes a shortcut that doesn't make
the script
ship
said
fast.
something.
Yeah.
Like when I was looking at the script, it said something that really floored me. Like as soon as he says that line in the script, it says Ben reacts to Solo's stupid attempt to impress him with obvious misinformation.
Oh, interesting.
So I think in the script, it's calling out that Han is the dumb guy. It's not George Lucas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Han is just saying stuff to try to impress them.
That's actually,
so he said
that's interesting.
Parsecs because it sounded spacey. Like it sounded like Nito Cosmo.
Yeah, I mean,
funny.
The script direction literally says Ben reacts to Solo's stupid attempt to impress them with obvious misinformation.
Oh, that kind of bums me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it more.
I kind of I'm on the fence because on the one hand, I think Han would know the correct term to use.
Yeah, come on,
but
man.
I do believe that he's like, promoting himself. He's like, selling himself up a little bit.
Maybe he's trying to
pick up on that.
Maybe he's trying to feel them out, like see how big of rubes they are. Like, oh, let me throw this out there and see if they understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And Luke's just like, dude.
See, I never questioned. He goes, you never heard of the Millennium Falcon? I never questioned that line. I was like, damn, Ben should have read up on this.
Right.
Which is hilarious because Ben goes, should I have?
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
That is really good.
But then he says, oh, go ahead, Jer.
No, that's, I never, I always accepted Han, his line or his brag here at face value. I'm like, it's not even a brag. I was always like, well, yeah, Ben should have heard of the Millennium Falcon. Where you been, man? Like, an old man beyond the Dune Sea.
Yeah.
That might be the goofy part. Like, yeah, like why would an old man from the Dune Sea ever hear about anything going on in the galaxy anyway? But no, I think I agree that I always figured the Millennium Falcon was the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, and it was as awesome as he says it is. Yeah. And it looks like a piece of junk, but it's actually awesome.
Yeah.
Even though it's always failing, like especially in Empire, it's like falling apart and not doing what it should.
Well, I mean, what's cool is the Millennium Falcon is a character in Empire. You know, I mean, it's and it does feel like, I mean, they introduced the ship here and like a character, like it's kind of its own hero,
right?
But here's something I don't understand. They keep referring to the Millennium Falcon as fast, like the fastest ship in the galaxy or the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go, like when ships in the galaxy go fast, they jump to light speed.
Right.
But they don't jump to past light speed. So it isn't every single ship in the galaxy exactly the same speed.
I have thought that same thing all the time. And then I think, maybe without light speed, like, just regular impulse power, as we say in Star Trek land, outside of hyperspace, just flying around. Maybe that's the fastest one.
But he's getting outrun by TIE fighters.
I know, that's the thing. And you read the books and they say, A-wings are actually faster than the Millennium Falcon or whatever. And like, all right, maybe it's just, I don't know, really maneuverable. Wow, looks cool.
Wait a minute, that's really, really disheartening.
Yeah,
because I always thought the set. Well, so he says, like, I think in Empires, he says, like, can't we make the jump to light speed? And they're like, no, without the Navicomputer and the proper coordinates or something like that. Mm-hmm. You know, you run into a asteroid field or something like that. Oh, you end your trip real quick. You're like, oh, okay, so hold up. Is the magic or the talent of the Millennium Falcon, does it lie within the Navicomputer? Like, is it not?
Maybe.
Like, is it not the engine or whatever?
Yeah.
Is it the fact that it picks the best coordinates?
I hate this. this is where I start to feel like, oh man, it's the fastest ship. It's the fastest ship.
But like
Let's
every
just leave
ship,
it at that. It's awesome.
like when they're in the convoy, every ship goes the exact same speed. Like through light
it makes
speed.
No sense.
Like so,
if you actually
said,
go this,
my ship is exactly as fast as every other ship in this place.
Right, it's a standard spaceship and it goes real fast.
Well, just see, like that always bothered me when the later movies, you see all these ships jumping to hyperspace, and you're like, no, that was the one gear that made the Millennium Falcon special. You see it do that, make the jump to hyperspace, and you're like, that's the thing that makes this ship special.
Oh, you thought that was the only ship that could do that?
Yes, I thought that was the only ship that could do that.
Oh my God, that's kind of cool.
It's not even an oh my God. You're like, that's the truth.
It is the only ship you see do that, I guess, in the movie.
Well, I mean, when later, like, is it the end of Empire where they all go pew, 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 pew. Yeah, and you're like, oh, dude, what is happening? They all go.
No, it's the end of Jedi.
This is the end of Jedi.
Or,
it's the end of
Jedi.
End of Jedi,
yeah.
So, but you're.
That's interesting.
That makes no. Yeah, no, I thought going.
You kind of get the idea that anybody can do that because they talk about it. Like, oh, we got to track them. You know, they jumped.
But then you're like, so it's just it's just a Honda Civic.
Yeah. Also, light speed isn't that fast if you're traveling interstellar distances.
Right.
Like you're still going to take a year or two to get most places.
No, a year or two take like I don't know.
Depending on how far you're going.
Yeah, if you're going to the next nearest star, it might be like 8 months or 2 months or 10 years, but it ain't going to be
like a week or 3 days.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe if you're bouncing back and forth between the two binary suns.
There's one moment in here that always, I thought I was much smarter than the movie or the characters or something, because, they're haggling over the price. Han's like, oh, 10,000, 10,000. And then Ben's like, we can pay you 2,000 now plus 15 when we reach Alderaan. And Han immediately goes, oh, 17, huh? And I'm like, oh, Ben's playing him. He's taking him for such a dummy and he's totally falling for it. Because he said he'd pay him 2,000 plus 15. He didn't say 15,000. He said 15. So he's going to pay him 2,015, and Han totally thinks he means 17,000. Sucker.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
That brings up a great point. Like, why is Han so trusting that they're going to pay him money at the end of this? Like, why he's not doing a credit check? He's not.
Yeah,
like, just because he's so desperate. Like he's more gullible than Luke.
Yeah,
I know why though. I think Han is truly desperate here.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I don't think he would do this under other circumstances other than there's a bounty on his head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason.
Like if he just gets 2,000 at the end of the day, and he gets off of Tatooine and away from Jabba the Hutt for a while, then maybe that's worth it to him.
Do you think so? Is there a bank on Alderaan?
I don't know.
Yeah, like they have to go and fill out the deposit slip, like withdrawal slip.
So you're like, okay, they're selling the speeder.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling, there might be a yard sale for blue milk jars.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they're getting rid of. Does Ben have zero money?
Yeah, I think he has zero
I guess
money.
Is that what this is? Yeah. Is he just...
Does he just
I mean,
kill
he's like
sand people and eat them? Like, what is he?
I don't know. Maybe he's like a Trappist monk.
If he knew, like we spent hours talking about like Ben's plan and like he's been waiting for Luke to come of age, and one of these days shouldn't he have had like a stash of money for exactly this? Like he knew this day was coming and he's going to have to get off the planet at some point.
Unless he just planned to use like his mind tricks to get everyone to take him places.
Is he nowhere? He's not involved in any... Like, he's not at all in touch with anyone from the rebellion.
It doesn't seem like.
I guess.
Yeah. Leia's dad had to find him.
Is that why they made Luke what they made him? In the sequels or whatever whatever it is, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The new ones that came out 5 years ago, whatever, where Luke's in Ireland, off the coast of Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that is Luke, basically beyond the Dune Sea?
Yeah. But that's like, Luke does that on purpose to get away from everybody.
And is that what Ben did?
Yeah.
Is Luke just doing what Ben was doing? But Luke isn't watching over anybody.
No.
But see, I never thought Ben was watching over Luke until the prequels came out.
Like that never occurred to me. I don't know. Or until the radio drama anyway.
Yeah.
They kind of allude to that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But I didn't catch that.
Tommy, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Being a Starlog fan. What's a Corellian?
We know. Don't ask me how, but we know that Han Solo is a Corellian, and I don't know what that. I guess he's from a place called Corellia. He's a Corellian. But yeah, he calls he's like, not the local bulk cruisers, mind you. I'm talking about the big Corellian ships now. It's, as when you're a kid and you're reading the stuff like the storybook and the novelization and the backs of the action figures and stuff, you get all these terms like, the way there's like a Captain Antilles and there's a Wedge Antilles, and you're like, even at that young age, you're like 6 or 7, and you're like, I think he just made up a lot of words, and then he wanted to use them in some places, and he used them in too many places sometimes. So then because I don't know where it came from, but the Han's a Corellian, but then he refers to Corellian ships, so you get the idea that these are. And then like in the movie, they explained the place he was from was also where they made the ships and stuff, and you have to explain everything.
But see, I like the idea that it's like, I don't like the idea that Han's from Corellia, but I like the idea that those are those new Italian police cars. We outran those. Like, everyone knows an Italian police car is going to be really fast.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like an in thing in the movie that we don't know about, but everyone in the movie's like, oh, Corellian.
Yeah, like if you're not confused by Han Solo being a Corellian because you don't hear that in the movie at all, that is a cool line. It's like it works the way you're saying.
Yeah. I had no idea. I don't need to know Han's from Corellia.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Corellia.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to know where Han Solo's from.
Yeah,
He's a pirate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's fine. But what I didn't understand, he says I guess I was assuming he was talking about Star Destroyers.
I think he is.
I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I say. But here's what I don't get: why would the big ships be the fastest?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense unless, especially if they're all just going light speed.
I mean, maybe they could be, but I think I just likened it to like either like a flying fortress, like or like an aircraft carrier or something. I'm like, well, I'm not in the military or anything, but those don't strike me as the fastest ships.
Yeah, they don't seem like it in any of the movies.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. No, they don't. So I'm like, why is he?
Maybe he's just making everything up.
Or maybe it is like getting back to the Falcon. Maybe like it's not the speed. It's like the wily agility or something. It can run circles around these big fat ships and stuff. But then you think, okay, couldn't any small ship do that?
An X-Wing would be better at that.
Yeah. Han's full of garbage.
Well, speaking of Han full of garbage, the one thing I love is that he asks who's the cargo.
Yeah.
And Ben says only passengers, myself, the boy, 2 droids, and no questions asked. And the first thing Han does is ask a question. And it's also like the one question that Ben shouldn't want him to ask, and then Ben just answers it.
Right.
Like we don't want any Imperial entanglements.
Yeah. If he didn't want to answer that question, or if he wants to answer that question, what questions didn't he want?
Like, well, yeah. What other question would he ask?
That's the question.
And it's the first thing he does is ask it.
Ixnay on the Imperial pay.
Well, so does Han normally not avoid Imperial entanglements?
Right.
Because he says he's like, it's like he has a menu.
Yeah.
He has a menu and a surcharge for avoiding that. He's like, and it's going to cost you extra. So is he like the normal price includes Imperial entanglements?
Right. Which he loves. I love cozying up to the Empire whenever I can, getting searched.
But do you think Luke would have a good case in small claims court not to pay Han the $15,000 because they got an Imperial entanglement?
Yeah. We did say no Imperial entanglements.
Yeah, that's a verbal contract.
Yeah. And you took us into the Death Star. So that's, most people would agree that you screwed us.
That's hilarious. He should get there's some sort of refund due.
Yeah.
Yeah. You asked a question and you landed us on the Death Star.
Yes. Well, definitely whatever he was going to charge, and it'll cost you extra.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what should be refunded.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like anything that Ben would have said, it was going to cost him extra. Like, we need a bathroom on the ship. Oh, that's going to cost you extra.
Yeah. Oh, gross. Droids?
I think this is Han, and he's desperate, and he's trying to squeeze it all, for all it's worth.
Yeah.
How much does Han owe? Does he owe 17,000?
I
don't know.
He says. I assume he owns. For some reason, I think he owes 10.
Yeah, 17 sounds like a lot more than he needs. Like he's so excited about 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then why doesn't he just drop off the money at Jabba's house or like put it in the mail? Oh, I guess he doesn't have it yet. I guess he only has the 2.
Well, okay. So, we'll get there.
In a few months, we'll get there, yeah.
In a few Well, Pete, would you do that deal? If somebody said, I'll give you 2,000, you want 10.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, no, I'll give you 2, but 15 later. Would you do it?
Well, I'm naively trusting by nature, so yes. But I feel like if I'm a wily smuggler and a good business guy, no. Like, I feel like unless he's desperate, this is a really dumb move.
Yeah.
Well, so, okay. If Han bailed, then who's the next guy they would have gone to?
That's a really good question.
I hope it's the Womp Rat.
Yeah. The Womp Rat from B. Arthur's Cantina.
Yeah.
Like, do you think the Wolfman has got a kick-ass like motorcycle?
Yeah. Oh, I'd watch that movie. That'd be so awesome.
What do you think Krellman has? Like the guy that drinks by pouring the drink into his head. See, like a moped, like the space moped.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like a Honda scooter.
Come on. But what about the little guy who goes beep beep beep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes up.
What about that?
That'll be a
What about that guy?
Like that guy, he flies like a beanbag, a huge space beanbag.
Yeah. Is there a reason that Ben does not use the Force on Han here to get him to?
I was wondering if he did.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I was wondering if he used the Force to know like, because Ben offers a lot more than Han's asking for, and I was wondering, did Ben use the Force to like look into his mind and find out what his magic number was to get him to just say yes?
Oh, maybe. Or he tricked him into thinking the 15 meant 15,000.
Yeah, I love that.
You said it, not me.
Because it's weird how fast Ben escalates.
Yeah. It's like, I gotta like just lay it on thick. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, as somebody who does a lot of negotiating and buying, like all day long, I think Ben is really smart here. I think this is a fantastic, move, negotiating tactic. First of all, you're like 15 when he gets to Alderaan. You're like, dude, it's not his money. He knows what's happening. If you can get us to Alderaan, I'm going to go right to Princess Leia's dad or whatever it is. It's like I'm going to have all sorts of loot in the coffers.
Yeah,
it's not. He's really only coughing up. I feel like he's only coughing up $2
grand. But he's not coughing up any of his own money. He's coughing up.
No, I mean he tells Luke he has to sell his speeder. Yeah, so he's like 2,000 now. And he's like, you're gonna have to sell your speeder. And you're like, dude, he didn't even have it there. Like, did he walked into the bar? Did he even order a drink? Does he not have money? Was he like, I'll have a water with ice?
No, I think he ordered
some
like
pretzels. Like
the most expedient lately. I ordered the Dom Perignon, but then he was like expecting Han to pay for it.
I'll be hightailing it out of here without paying.
Because I think Han does pay for their tab later.
He must, yeah.
Well, whatever Han flips to the guy,
that covers messes.
Does that cover his mess, or did he just flip him like one of those 1870 Liberty dollars? The ones that are worth like 4.5 million or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Curly and 2 bits.
Yeah, it's like he goes, sorry about the mess. But you wonder, did that pay for its entire tab and Luke's and Chewbacca's and the cleanup of Greedo?
And Walrus Man.
Yeah.
And Walrus.
I know, yeah. Ben didn't offer any mess payment. He made a much bigger mess than Han Solo.
And there's no way that Ben paid on his way unless they paid up front. But you don't see him pay up front either. But he doesn't like he does. There's no way they pay after the stormtroopers see them. I'm
watching
zoinks,
Han and
like getting out.
I'm watching Luke and Ben as they're leaving the cantina, and they're just hot footing it out of there. Like, don't look back, don't look back. Just keep walking, eyes front. That's hysterical.
I'll say this: if you watch this entire scene and you look at Chewbacca the whole time, it might be the coolest scene just in the movie.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Chewbacca looks incredible.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say a damn word, and he sits there and he's watching everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only he's the only non-human at the table. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's the complete opposite of the first 20 minutes of the holiday special.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, it is.
He's just playing it cool. He's a good wingman. Good co-pilot.
See, what's really strange is that we have the stormtroopers come over and they don't ask Han or Chewie anything.
Right.
And they don't go running after Luke and Ben.
I think that is Ben using the Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, you don't think he has to talk to him. He could just do it.
I don't know. Well, what's weird is he doesn't. It would be really stupid if he used it again, if they showed it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, but the stormtroopers go, we'll check it out. And it's like they go over there and it's see, I think they're intimidated by Han and his shirt open. Like Han Solo's threatening. Yeah, he's actually threatening.
Well, and maybe they didn't have to, like maybe Ben didn't have to say it out loud before. He was just doing it to impress Luke.
Oh, maybe.
Like, so Luke would know what he was doing.
Oh, we see him not have to say something later on when he makes the stormtroopers look the other way. And
when he throws the ball.
Death Star.
Yeah.
He throws a wrench over there. How's that?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe We also don't see Ben and Luke leave. Maybe they're still just sitting there, but they're invisible to the stormtroopers because he used the mind trick on them.
Well, I was wondering, is it like a tiptoe?
Not here.
Do they tiptoe out or do they run out?
Or they're under the table. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that you don't see them leave at all.
Yeah,
like they're just gone. They just got out of there.
But then they immediately show them outside, and Ben's like holding up his hood as a disguise, but it looks like he's trying to disguise himself from C-3PO. It's like, I don't want this guy to follow us.
Don't make eye contact. That's awesome. Oh, then we get Greedo.
Well, wait a minute. I was going to say, does Luke ever come back to the planet again?
He does, in like 2 movies.
I have to think, because he says, I'm never coming back to this planet again.
In fact, even in the radio drama, which came out the same year or right after Return of the Jedi, like Ben's like, oh, don't be so certain. Like you might.
Really?
It may have already been written into a future movie.
That's crazy.
Wait, when does he come? Oh, Jabba. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, how funny is that? Pete, I'm glad you caught it too. I was like, what's Tommy talking about? But yeah,
it's like the first half of Return of the Jedi.
But right there goes to show you what it's like to live in Star Wars, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As we were doing. Like when you live in the movie Star Wars, that's why it's so beautiful. You don't factor in all these other things like, oh, of course, you go to see Jabba. Like,
Tatooine is a lot cooler as just a crummy place where this kid grew up that he wants to get away from, and not like somehow the center of the galaxy just by happenstance.
I mean, this is basically a truck stop.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a backwater burg that nobody needs to go to ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if on face value you took Luke's line. I'm never coming to this planet again.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
And then we get Greedo.
We do.
One of the best parts of this movie, Star Wars.
Agreed.
Yeah. I love Greedo.
Yeah.
I keep wondering if as a little kid, I was like the annoying kid that's like really loudly asking his mom what Greedo's saying since I can't read the subtitles.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone else get subtitles?
Not in this
Not
movie.
until Jabba, right?
Right. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of it in Jabba's place.
There's a lot of it, yeah.
Even though they have an interpreter at that point.
So, I have the question here is, was Han literally just going to see Jabba?
Yeah, I was wondering that too, but he doesn't. So that makes me think he wasn't.
I think he was going to, and then Greedo is there on Jabba's behalf to waste Han Solo. And so after that, he's like, I'm not going to go talk to Jabba the Hutt. I'm going to get out of here. Jabba's got it in for me.
When we look at Greedo, what's fascinating is he, in a way, he double crosses Jabba. He says, if you give me the money now, basically he's saying, if you give me the money you owe Jabba, I'll forget I found you.
Right.
And then Han will still owe Jabba the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's incredible is you wonder, so what Han owes Jabba must be more money than the bounty on his head.
Yeah.
Wait,
because
I don't understand.
Well, because if Greedo is willing to, in a way, kind of double cross Jabba, he's willing to take Han's money so that he doesn't turn him into Jabba.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Then the bounty must be lower
than the money he would make if he turned Han into Jabba. So you're like, wow, what is Greedo doing? A, is he a bounty hunter? B, does he work? Is he like a henchman, one of Jabba's henchmen? C, is he double crossing Jabba by doing that? Or is he just stealing is he only robbing Han Solo?
Yeah, I think he's going to rob Han Solo and then kill him and take the body to Jabba anyway and get the bounty.
Yeah.
But does Jabba not care if he's dead or alive?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Because there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he brings him dead, he's like, oh, thanks, guy.
But I'll never get my money.
Pays him the money.
But then Jabba will never get his money.
Jabba will never get his money.
Right.
Or, you assume what he does do he puts him in carbonite and hangs him. And for some reason, he turns Han Solo into ornamentation.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess he still doesn't get the money. He's kind of just old school that way, where it's just part of it's like a feature in his palace.
He gets the
Don't double cross me.
Yeah.
But this
so
is
maybe
because the whole thing, like in this movie, when we don't see Jabba really plays like an old timey mafia boss. Like he's a mobster.
Yeah.
And Greedo's like one of the hangers on around a mobster. You never quite know what he is. Like, is he a capo? Is he like a soldier? Or is he just like some guy trying to get in good with Jabba?
Well, what he says, in a way, Greedo shows his cards. He goes, yes, Jabba, I was just going to see your boss. And Greedo goes, basically, if you give me the money now, I might forget I found you. And you're like, oh, dude, he's working for Jabba, and he's willing to let Han go. Like, he's kind of, what you do is then Han goes to Jabba and say, guess what?
Right.
Guess who was willing to sell, who's not really working for you. He was willing to let me go and take my money, and even though he's working for you.
That kind of stuff must happen constantly, though. It's not like these people are like, I've been in the Jabba business since I was a kid. Like, these are all just kind of like mercenaries and jerks and, freelancers and,
he says, I was just going to see your boss, but really he might just be a freelancer.
Yeah, like the guy you're currently working for.
But Greedo says the price on his head is so high that every bounty hunter in the galaxy is going to be looking for him. So is the amount that Ben has promised Han Solo more than that? Like, is Ben just promising Han Solo, like, oh, I'm going to, I'm buying you a house. Like, I'm giving you $1 million.
Well, is Han Solo finding out about the bounty on his head right now from Greedo? Like, he knows that when he's talking to Ben, he knows that he owes Jabba money. And even when he's talking to Greedo, he knows that he owes Jabba money, but he doesn't necessarily know that Jabba's put a price on his head.
That's an excellent
That's a great
question.
Point. Yeah.
I think that he knows Jabba's really pissed, and Jabba does put prices on people's heads.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably the first he's hearing of it, but he's not at all surprised. I think it's like when you go into collections.
Yeah.
And you get that letter in the mail, and you're like, oh, this is from a collection agency. And you go, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. We knew this was coming.
Yeah, I guess it's 90 days.
Right. By the way, you asked before if he was going to see Jabba. There's actually no way he was going to see Jabba, was there? Because he doesn't actually have the money. So why would he go to Jabba and be like, hey, in about a month,
well, he said he was going to tell him he had the money, but it seems like a dumb move.
So I always thought when he says, I don't have it with me,
right? Is
he talking about Ben's money then?
I think he has nothing right now.
Yeah.
I don't think he has anything to give Jabba.
Yeah.
But he's about to have 2,000 and then 17,000.
He does have one coin.
He does, and he's very free and loose with that one.
Yeah. And he has his ship.
Yeah.
Which you're like, okay, so if you do all the math on all this, you're like, the bounty is the highest in the galaxy of all time, wanted. You're like, Ben is paying him 17,000, which could really save Han's neck.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, Greedo, if that could save Han's neck, then it sounds like the 17,000 would far pay off the money that he owes Jabba. The money that he owes Jabba is
less,
way more than what the bounty is on his head, because Greedo's willing to take that.
And also in Jabba's, Greedo says if he's lucky, Jabba will only take his ship. So apparently the ship is worth more.
Yeah.
Than
why hasn't Jabba taken his ship? Is it like a secret that Han Solo is parked at Docking Bay 94? Like, it can't be hard to know where Han is. Like, Greedo
the most famous ship in the galaxy.
And he says if you're lucky, he might only take your ship.
Yeah, why hasn't that happened already?
Why hasn't
Jabba like, you're going to sit here until you pay me and I'm going to just take your ship apart?
And if you can... Yeah, and if you can almost buy the ship for 10,000.
Yeah.
God, that's fascinating. If you can...
If
you can almost buy a ship for 10,000, because you're kind of like, well, so what Ben is paying Han must be like $5 million,
yeah,
or $20 million.
Yeah, it seems like an insane amount. Like
it's
if it's
way
enough
more than the highest bounty on the galaxy of all the wanted people.
Yeah, like if you're willing to fly in from like 32 planets over to collect on this, that seems like it's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And like you have to pay for your gas and your food and your lodging, and that seems like it must be a substantial amount of money.
And then you're like, he may only take your ship, which is you're like, what's interesting about that is then it's like, so how much is the Millennium Falcon worth? Is it like, well, since you don't have the money, which I really would want the money, I'm willing to only take your ship, which is less than what you owe me, but because it's so dope, I'll do it. Or because it hurts you so bad, I'll do it. Just spiritually, I'm kicking you because it's your ship. Or is Jabba just like, everybody knows he's in docking Bay 94, but you'd never take another man's ship.
Or is the ship half Chewie's? Like, could Jabba not take it?
I don't think that would stop Jabba from taking it necessarily.
Yeah, probably not. But like,
A,
Chewie
like he wouldn't care, and B, Chewie and Han are kind of a package deal. It seems like.
But then you're like, he acquired the ship from like a poker game with Lando.
We don't know that yet, though.
We don't know.
No.
And we also don't know in this. I mean, again, bringing in different versions and stuff. There's the whole stupid scene that they added back in the special edition.
Yeah.
Where Jabba is standing in front of the Millennium Falcon with his guys and waiting for Han Solo, and he still lets him go.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. And that I only bring that up because it's actually in the screenplay.
Yeah,
it was like supposed to be in the movie and it didn't work out. And it seems it seems like Han Solo kind of smooth talks him and says like, hey, I got this deal going. It's gonna be sweet for both of us, it'll work out. Just let me go and take care of this thing and I'll be back with your money. And I guess that kind of makes sense, but the way Greedo's, I mean, to be fair, Greedo has Han at gunpoint and he wants something from him and he's a crook, so he could be just spinning the whole situation his way to, make it seem like it'd be a good deal for Han Solo to give him what he's got, or he's going to shoot him, which I guess he's going to shoot him anyway.
You know what's weird? How about this? What if Greedo is Jabba's chef? Like, I was just going to see your boss, and he has nothing to do with bounties or head hunting, or he's not a bounty hunter or any of that. He just knows that if Han owes that money to Jabba and it's imminent and it needs to be collected, he knows Han's walking around with cash in his pockets. So maybe it's just has nothing to do with Jabba. It's just a straight up robbing.
Well, and maybe Greedo is in more desperate straits than Han. Like maybe he's got a second kid on the way, like Ludlow's on the way. And he's got a...
I hate you, Pete. Ludlow.
God.
Is Han any more honorable than Greedo? Is there a difference between Han and Greedo?
Not right now, maybe. Like, by the end of the movie, yes, but not necessarily.
Well, look. Han is like a mule. He's smuggling, and let's be clear, he's smuggling one cargo ships, full of whatever it is, spice or whatever Jabba's importing or whatever it is. You go, okay. So once again, you can throw that into the economics.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one thing, and he gets boarded, and he has to let it all go. And he even says, "Hey, even I get boarded sometimes," and so he just owes Jabba for that. That's all it is. I don't know why Jabba's busting his balls so hard.
Yeah, it might have been a lot of money. It sounds like it was a big load of spice.
I get it.
Or maybe Han
just
disappeared instead of facing him afterwards.
Oh, maybe.
No, that might be, actually. That might be.
I also like that it's nice foreshadowing, like when Han says, even I get boarded sometimes.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like, how popular a profession is bounty hunting? Like, is Greedo a bounty hunter?
See, I don't know if you know that he is.
Is he... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's not.
If he works for Jabba, he's probably
Fett?
not. If he works for Jabba, he's probably just like a like a gun for hire, which seems like it'd be different than a bounty hunter.
But does he know Boba Fett? Is it that type of thing?
He's always lumped in with the group of bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Like that when you name the bounty hunters of Star Wars, Greedo's usually in there.
His name is Greedo.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Gormando.
Yeah.
Right? Or is it Gormanda?
Yeah.
Gormanda from the holiday special.
So does Ludlow hate technology?
Wow, that's pretty sexy, Pete.
Are you horrified? Was your childhood ruined when Han Solo, who you're starting to like, just cold-bloodedly killed poor Greedo?
No, because I already didn't like Han Solo.
Under the table. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So that's just solidified it for you. Solidified it.
I love that Han makes a gun shape with his hand while he shoots Greedo. Like he's so excited about shooting them that he's making a shape like a gun with his other hand.
Says, blam, blam.
That's amazing. No, I the way it's all set up, you're like, Greedo's up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit live by the sword, die by the sword. Besides, you're also like, Greedo, come on, man. You should have sat, in a nice open patio in 2 chairs.
Yeah.
With no table. You know what I mean? Yeah, with nothing obscuring it. You should have. I understand you want to get him before he gets out the bar, but I don't know.
Greedo didn't help himself either when he said, "I've looked forward to killing you for a long time."
Yeah. I've looked forward to this monologue before I shoot you for a long time.
That's probably not a smart move if you're about to shoot
what's interesting is Greedo, I guess Greedo would have killed him there in the bar and then dragged his body over to Jabba.
I guess, or
and
at least
say, give me the money.
Yeah, what if so he finds out that he's not getting anything from Han Solo. Han Solo says he doesn't have the money and stuff, so then Greedo's just going to shoot. Like, would he have gotten anything from Jabba for Han's dead body? I really don't know.
Well, what if Greedo was the court jester? Like, what if he's a comedian and he's going to kill Han Solo with his jokes? Thank you for that completely fake laugh, Tom.
That was very fake. Yeah, I don't quite get it. I'm sorry. I just don't know why. Like, what does he get out of shooting Han Solo?
Yeah,
like whether or not he announces that he's going to shoot him. Why doesn't he, like, just at gunpoint take him to Jabba the Hutt and then get his bounty for real?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's it. At gunpoint, he would, but there's no way Han would ever go.
No,
it's not happening. Yeah,
I mean, we know that.
Yeah,
but Greedo doesn't even try it.
You know what I love? I love the way Greedo's little butt ears rotate when he talks.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of amazing. And I wonder,
really cool.
what's the, you wonder what is the, the adaption, or why did he adapt that way? Where it's like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, he's in a bar, and he's in the corner of the bar, and his ears keep rotating.
Yeah.
Like, is he picking up other people's conversations?
Like as a gangster, he needs to be wary of everything that's going around.
Right. Maybe that's the way he makes sure. Like, he shouldn't have his back to the bar. He's supposed to be sitting at. Maybe that's his.
Or is that his downfall though? That he's too busy paying attention to what the guy at the bar is saying, and Han gets the jump on him.
Yeah. Gosh, you know what I never really noticed before until just now? This all takes place in the exact same spot as the previous conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought that was like the next table over or something. Han gets up. He says, hey, Chewie, get back to the ship, whatever. He gets up. He starts to walk away. And Greedo holds him at gunpoint, going somewhere solo, and he sits him right back down at the same table.
Yeah.
Really?
I never thought it was the same table, though.
Oh, my God. I didn't either.
That's crazy.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't think I noticed that till I watched it this time.
Wow, it's the same table?
Yeah.
The lighting is so different.
I've ruined your childhood.
No. Believe me, in this scene, that's not what ruined my childhood. We all know what ruined our adulthood.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it. It's over.
No, we don't have to talk about